If you buy $1 million short-term rental on 30A, you stay on 30A Realty, of course. You make that purchase. It costs $1 million. That's what you actually go under contract for. You will be able to take approximately 25% of that value up front via bonus depreciation. That's $250,000. So this year it's 80% of that, $200,000. So right now, buy $1 million asset. Again, you use really good investor-based realtor to make sure that maybe you're breaking even or cash flowing. So you have someone else paying that, and up front you have a $200,000 deduction, not off your tax burden, but if your net income was $200,000, so you would owe in a 37% tax bracket $74,000 of taxes. You can wipe that away.
Watch it out.
And you have a house on the beach.
If you're a high income earner and tired of paying taxes, this is the show for you. You're going to want to stay tuned. So, hey guys, I am with Chris and Rachel Moore today, and they are real estate agents here in the Panhandle area. And we're going to be talking all about how to build wealth through real estate and also mitigate your mitigate your income tax burden and not pay any income taxes. So, welcome guys. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, what's happening? Good to see you. So I have seen you. I've stayed at your home. You've been great hosts for me. So thank you so much. But let's jump right into it. People want to know about this accelerated depreciation. That's what it's called, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about here. This is how people are literally paying very little taxes or cutting their tax bill way, way down by virtue of buying a short-term rental. And maybe they're not even a full-time real estate agent, right? So let's talk about that because you guys have a great story. Tell us a little bit of how you got started. This is actually what got you into it, right?
Correct.
Into real estate in general.
We lived in Connecticut. I actually bought my first investment property that I actually lived in, somewhere like a house hack, when I was 25. I was just getting out of nursing school, bought my first house and rented out bedrooms to friends. So I have always loved real estate, and I ended up transitioning from a healthcare career where I was earning W-2 income, so I could kind of ignore the tax area of the paycheck and just turn a blind eye, to getting all 1099 income as an influencer and writing huge checks to the federal government and state government because I lived in Connecticut at the time. So it was a real eye-opener as to how much of the money that we took in was going out in taxes. So as people who love real estate, we started brainstorming, geez, how can we lessen our tax burden? And that is where we really fell into real estate. And we loved 30A. So at this point, we've transitioned our full-time lives and all of our investment properties outside of some apartment syndications into the 30A market.
Wow. And so was there a book or is it a person that approached you or that you, how did you even come? Because some people, they sort of hear about it. Maybe they're an investor, they're in a syndication, but I know for me, I was involved in syndications and I knew about cost segregation. I knew about that, but I was a passive investor, so I didn't need to make those decisions. So how did you guys sort of dive in or say, hey, was it a book or what was it?
You can answer.
You want me to take that? I'm so happy to be on this podcast.
Thanks,
I'm lit. I've always kind of wanted to do this. This
Glad
is
to have
the first time for me. Yeah, I'm real excited. You mentioned accelerated depreciation. Really, the vehicle that is on its way out is bonus depreciation. Accelerated's always been there. You've always been able to take your piece of real property and accelerate certain portions of that asset. Regarding the depreciation, you've always been able to take some soon. The Trump administration inputted something called bonus depreciation, where anything that was depreciable less than 20 years, you could take at the time of purchase. And that's slowly going away. They're chopping it away 20% of the time over the next 5 years. So it's really put the fire under us. We own the brokerage and a property management company, and we're heavy in real estate. But first and foremost, we're investors. So we are buying, we're leveraging a little bit aggressively at the moment to close out some deals before the end of the calendar year, because with every year over the next 4 years, it's just less beneficial. And in a couple of years, really, it's not going to make a ton of sense with the cost to implement these things, because there is a cost to it.
Yeah.
So basically, Rachel's so smart and successful. She started making money. She couldn't help it. And like she said, we started writing those checks for taxes, and that caused us to really start diving into reading different books about different investments and talking to financial advisors. People were interested in kind of managing our money for the first time. And there was really the tax strategy book. It's a really boring kind of sounding name. I don't remember the exact, I think it's just called Advanced Tax Strategies for Real Estate.
Yeah.
Savvy Real Estate Investors.
Yeah.
Amanda Hahn, shout out.
Yeah, Amanda Hahn, that was the book that really, I was reading stacks of like real estate, but all the ones you're supposed to read. And this one introduced concepts that I just couldn't believe were real, and we were able to implement them to reduce our effective tax rate.
As dry as it sounds, it's actually a really easy read.
And the funny thing is, or the interesting thing is, you can talk to your tax preparer. They may or may not know necessarily. This is what you find, right?
Absolutely. We had to switch accountants because our accountant in Connecticut was also a wealth advisor who was very heavy in the stocks. So us investing in real estate didn't make him any money. He's not managing that. And so he just kept telling us, oh, there's too big a hassle factor. There's too big a hassle factor. But for us, we could see all the ways you build wealth with real estate and one way you build wealth with stocks. So it was such a bigger picture vision of growing wealth. And we ended up having to switch accountants because there are not a lot of accountants who are really well read in all the deep nitty-gritty loopholes of real estate.
Right. And when you talk about CPAs, you talk about tax specialists, and then you have tax preparers who may or may not be a CPA. Regardless, it's really the tax specialists. We met through Brian Yormack, BAY Tax Services, and Brian really, he doesn't do tax preparation. So he's not going to know about those. He's going to hand it to one of the people in his organization. But when it comes to this type of thing, bonus depreciation, that's where the rubber hits the pavement. That's where the knowledge comes in, right?
Correct. And Brian has done cost segregation studies for us, and he gets into the weeds of that house and pulls out every dollar and cent. So it's absolutely worth finding a great cost seg person, which your realtor, if you are an investor, your investment focused realtor should have a contact for you, because they're going to pull out so much more money and so much more tax savings for you with that report than doing it, like google.com cost segregation engineer.
Right. Because what I hear you saying is, and we've noticed this ourselves in our own investments, but you have cost seg people out there that are sort of bargain cost seg. And so it's definitely one of those things where
we've used one.
Yeah. You get what you pay for. Right. And so how do you know? Well, because like you're saying, Rachel, is, you compare it to what you've maybe had done. And then all of a sudden someone comes in and they said, oh, well, they've missed this, and this. And next thing you know, what was the difference on your guys? It was six figures, right?
It was over $100,000 as far as the deduction goes. And you're like, wait, this guy charged $3,000 more.
Right.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. So maybe you pay $3,000 more, but you got $100,000 in extra tax deduction. So it's just a math thing at that point. I mean, right?
Right. And that deduction carries over.
Yeah.
So that's why for us, we're making more purchases this year, because at 80% bonus depreciation compared to going into service in January when it's 60% bonus depreciation, that's a big amount that we can save on taxes. And if we weren't to use it up all this year or next year, you can keep kicking that down the road.
Right. And you kick it down the road by virtue of a 1031 exchange, correct? If you want to sell.
Yeah, well, that's a different concept. I think what she was saying is if you stack up more losses than you have income,
oh, okay,
those
right,
losses carry forward.
Right.
But the 1031 exchange is
absolutely
an important
the 1031 exchange. we call it kicking the tax can down the road. You're going to die owning a lot of real estate. It doesn't have to be the real estate you started with. It's like Monopoly, you're trading up. What I could afford in real estate when I was 25 and started is different than now when I'm 41. You know, it keeps getting better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to the kids. They can take it all down.
So simplify it for those out there who may really not know. They just sort of high level heard about it, but describe kind of what we're talking about here when it comes to bonus depreciation and how it actually can offset your actual job, your self-employed job. You were an influencer, had money coming in, but you could be a doctor, an attorney, or something like that, W-2, or just, a CEO. So talk about that.
You want me to take that?
Sure.
I just talk about this all the time. It's my favorite thing to talk about. In a sentence,
if you pick $1 million, this is a very common situation. You buy $1 million short-term rental on 30A. You use Stay on 30A Realty, of course. Okay, you make that purchase. It costs $1 million. That's what you actually go under contract for. You will be able to take approximately 25% of that value upfront via bonus depreciation. That's $250,000. So this year it's 80% of that, $200,000. So right now, you buy $1 million asset. Again, you use really good investor-based realtor to make sure that maybe you're breaking even or cash flowing. So you have someone else paying that, and up front you have a $200,000 deduction, not off your tax burden, but if your net income was $200,000, so you would owe in a 37% tax bracket $74,000 of taxes, you can wipe that away. You wipe it out, and you have a house on the beach. There's some nuance in qualifying for that, but the hurdles are very low because we're targeting short-term rentals. It's a whole special class with the IRS, and you don't need. We do this every day.
The short-term rental loophole is kind of what people are missing and thinking they have to have real estate professional status. And with the short-term rental loophole, the amount of time that you need to put into the property, marketing, bookkeeping, painting or decorating, all sorts of things, material participation, it's so much lower and more achievable. You can still do it and have a property manager.
Right. Yeah. Real estate professional is 1,500 hours a year. With a short-term rental, it's 100.
Where's the 750 come in? So you hear about that figure as well, 750 hours, but that's, again, you're bypassing that with the 100 hours.
Yeah, I think the 750, I think it's 1,500 now for real estate professionals. It basically comes to 15 hours a week.
Okay.
And that's to hit that full status, which you don't need anymore if you buy a property where the average stay is 7 days or less.
Yeah. So this is amazing. This is what presidential candidates are arguing about on stage, right, at the town hall meeting so many years ago. This is what a lot of people in Congress are using. And so even though they're talking about phasing it out, there's always this idea that people in Washington are using this. So they'll probably try to find out, figure out a way to get it pushed through to where they can continue to benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Am I right on this?
I think you did, right?
That seems to be how it's gone.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole phrase public servant, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe they're out for their own best interests. If these politicians have skin in the game, which we've seen over and over, they always do, that really dictates in a big way what the policy decisions they make. I think maybe they might be the opposite of public servant.
Yeah. Have you guys ever totaled up what you think you saved in taxes over the course of a few years?
Well, our effective tax rate is 0 for the last year, and the year going forward at least. We're looking to stack that up a bit more. So, it's a 6-figure number for sure.
Great. That's amazing. This is the American way. The government really encourages you to buy real estate. That's really what it boils down to. The IRS encourages you to buy real estate, and this is the track to do this. And so thank you for mentioning the book, because I think for those out there who you guys you're in Connecticut, you're doing something completely different. You had a corporate job, you decided to become an influencer, and then you start making money with that. You're like, man, I'm writing all these checks. I don't like this. What's a different way? There's got to be a different way. And then, lo and behold, there is. And, now you guys, you're teaming up, you built a $10 million portfolio, and you're helping lots of people here. So it's amazing. It's a great story. And you have your kids, your boys here, and your office is right above the school. So, and what a place to live. A lot of people don't know 30A. And had you been here? Had you been coming a little bit?
As an influencer, one of my best influencer friends had been coming here on vacation. Shout out Loverly Greg. When I saw these beaches, I couldn't believe you could get here without a passport. These beaches are world class. So that made me decide within about 1 week that we needed to ditch our beach house in Connecticut where the taxes were outrageous and we didn't even have heat. So the rental season was about 3 months and grab something here. And then once we started coming down and spending more time in investment property here, and we were like, gosh, no state income tax, the weather's amazing. We love the people here, the energy, and so we decided to move down here.
Okay. So people want to connect with you guys. They want to understand the strategy. They can hop on a call or Zoom, something.
Absolutely.
How would they do that? Because there's people out there that are listening or watching that want to do that.
The best way to do it is Follow us, Stay on 30A is our Instagram handle, and you can just shoot us a DM, and that's the easiest way to set up a call. Or if you just have a quick question, I answer all of the DMs.
So what's coming up that's coming up new that's you're excited about?
I'm excited to make another purchase. I love our renovation, so I just have like a decorating itch right now. We kind of finished decorating our primary home that we moved into in the summer, and so I'm looking for a value add.
Nice. What about you, Chris? Same?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really a growth season at the end of 2023. We added a bunch of new team members, and we're basically just looking at, we've been taking down deals, and on the property management side, just adding clients, and really, that takes time to really onboard each person in a proper manner and make sure we're doing a good job leveraging the social media. So it's 2023 going into 4 is really just a growth time.
Great. So, guys, this is your chance now to own a property and cut your income taxes that you're paying. So, kill two birds with one stone. It's the American way.
Build wealth at the beach.
Build wealth at the beach. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.